No, that was my finger! What a mean little girl. No, that's enough, Momo.
Hey guys, it's just before Christmas, so we decided to show you guys how to make some delicious Christmas-themed cat treats for your fur babies.
So we had some pumpkin and some 2 chicken breasts left over in the fridge, and a little bit of parsley, which is good for bad breath. So we're just going to try to combine those ingredients and create a dough and make treats out of that. So the first step will be to just turn the chicken into more manageable chunks. So I'm just going to move it into my food processor. You want it to be quite fine so that you don't have big chunks in the... Right. And we can transfer the chicken back into its bowl. I don't really have a recipe at this stage. I'm just trying things out, and I'm trying to get to a cookie dough kind of consistency. So next I'm just going to puree the pumpkin, which is nice and healthy, and it's good for most pets. So we'll be able to give this to our dog and our rats as well. As you can see, Kebby is very interested in our ingredients already. And then we're just going to also give our parsley a quick blitz while we're at it. Okay, that didn't work too well, but it doesn't matter. You might be better off chopping the parsley by hand. Next, take a bowl and just place your ingredients into it. Give that a quick mix. I'm gonna put in 1 free-range egg. And it's gonna have a lovely yellowish color because of the pumpkin, which will make them look nice and festive. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of flour to get that cookie dough consistency. As I said, I'm not working with a recipe, so I'm just gonna add a little bit, and if I feel I need more, I can always add as I go. And I mean, the great thing about homemade treats is you can really use whatever you have left over in your fridge. Just make sure that it is safe for pets. So especially for dogs that are a little bit less fussy than cats and can eat more than cats can, you can really go crazy. I know you can even use fruit, you can use apple, peanut butter. Our cats aren't so keen on peanut butter, so we don't really make those treats for them. But then for cats you can go with tuna, sardines, different types of meat, really whatever you have left in your fridge. Yeah, eventually it's going to get a little hard to do this with the spatula, so I'm gonna go in by hand. If you don't mind getting your hands dirty, that's always the easier way to do it. Don't want the dough to be too sticky because we are going to roll it out. There we go. Just try to be careful. Okay, we have enough to work in batches. Just gonna flour my hands a little bit. It is still a little bit sticky, but it's not too bad. Take some of the dough. A little bit of extra flour. Then you can just roll the dough out. You don't want to go too thin because you don't want them to crack, and you want them to have a good consistency. And to give it a Christmassy twist, I'm going to use our Christmas cookie cutters. So we can do... It might still be a little bit too sticky. It's still too sticky. Scratch that.
So originally we wanted to cut them out of little Christmas decorations, but I think this dough isn't quite going to work. It's just too springy and... what?
It's a very... the pumpkin is actually holding a lot of water, so the dough is turning out very, very wet. So I'm gonna roll it out and I'm gonna try to see if we can get it to work out with the Christmas shapes. Otherwise we might just have to just cut it into little cubes after it's been cooked.
Well, we can always try and cut them out in the shapes after it's cooked.
That is true as well. So I'm just gonna roll the dough out. And then we'll cut it out as it comes out of the oven, so it'll still be quite soft and it won't crack. The only thing with that is we'll obviously have some odd leftover dough, but the great thing is we can give that to our rats because they obviously wouldn't need very big treats. So we can break the little cut out bits out, break them up, and then we'll keep them aside for our little rat boys. Don't want to go too thin because then they're going to be very, very crunchy and breakable. We want them to be a little bit chewy in the center. But what's important is for it to be quite even so that it cooks evenly. Now I'm just going to transfer that onto my baking sheet. It is going up on the sides a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. And we're going to pop it into a preheated oven at 180 until golden brown. As you can see, things did not go as planned. I should have poked this with a fork so that it doesn't bubble up. So I'm just going to get a fork and poke it now to help it go down. It will deflate as it cools.
It does, however, also mean that the treats in that area are going to split.
Yes. So be better than us. Ooh, that's hot. And remember to poke your dough before you put it in the oven.
These are also going to be really big treats because we don't have smaller.
But it does work quite
stencils.
well. It's quite tough to get through. Okay, a bit of a wiggle.
Momo has come to assist.
Some stars. Momo has stolen a treat. The stars seem to be working a little better than the trees, so I'm going to continue with that. They're quite thick and chewy, which is really nice. We'll make them work for it. I think for the cats we might need to halve them because they are quite big.
Well, evidently not, because Momo just had fun having one.
We'll need to work on these treats and make them a little bit more user-friendly, but I think there's definitely something there, and the cats really seem to like them already. So we'll do a second batch at some point and work out the correct measurements. Maybe put a little bit less pumpkin so that the dough isn't quite as wet. And like I mentioned, nothing will go to waste, and all of these little bits I will keep in a jar and give to the rats.
With the power of time lapse, we will be done with cutting these out.
So once they're cooled completely, you can pop them in a glass jar or a ziploc bag, and then I would keep them in the fridge. And you can keep them for probably about a week or so. It depends how dry you let them go. If you let them cook in the oven, if you do them thinner and you let them go in the oven longer, so they're completely dried out, you can obviously keep them for a longer period of time. With the moister ones that I made, I would probably say about a week. You can also freeze them, in which case you can obviously keep them for much longer, and then you can just defrost them as you need.
Well, there you go, guys. Another fun activity for you to do with your pets. It doesn't need to be Christmas, it just happens to be Christmas right now. Anyways, we hope to see you in the next video. Please consider hitting that subscribe button and go find us on Instagram. It's at Momo the Siamese, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
Bye!